Good people of the internet, do not divert your eyes. Do not shy away. Yes, No Cooldown's back in the building, baby. We here to stay. It's episode 98. Don't hate. We feeling great, man. It's that time again. We're back. We're back. Another episode in the books. Episode 98. That is disgustingly, insanely close to episode 100, but we're going to keep moving forward into the future. Hope all of you are doing well. Hope all you guys have been enjoying the summer, enjoying all the games, the news, all the things that have been happening in the gaming nerd culture world that's been all over the place, man. Hope you're doing good. I am that man, Tripp. Again, welcome into No Cooldown. We're happy you're here. We're happy you're here. And of course, we, not just me, because my podcast partner in crime is in the building. You know what I'm saying? He is a slight occasional defender of Suicide Squad now that it's going free. Wendy's in the building. Wendy's, how you doing, dog?
I'm good, man. $20 lighter, but so much more mid in my life. How could I possibly complain? I'm cool and Tripp. I hope you're doing well as well.
Hey man, we feeling good. We're on the way, man. This summer's been heating up in terms of news, in terms of game drops. Elden Ring has got a vice grip on the masses. Everything has been going down. I have barely played, if at all, touched Elden Ring, but I will be into my rabbit hole soon enough. That is okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm if I commit to it, everything else that I have on the plan for the content goes out the fucking window. That's all I know. So I'm taking my time dipping the toe back into Elden Ring, but it will happen. Don't worry, guys. I'll probably have some gameplay up on it in the background of this episode to show y'all me getting my ass whooped by Pseudosax or warm up or something like that. But it's all right. It's all right. Make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars, man. Make sure you go to all your audio podcast platforms, rate this 5 stars, type in No Cooldown Pod, will be right there. Make sure you check out the YouTube side of things, youtube.com/@NoCooldown. I believe we're about like 10 subs off of 600 folks, man. 600 No Cooldowners in the building, man. Yeah, y'all just come through, man. Make sure y'all sub, check us out on all the socials as well, everywhere on all socials, No Cooldown Pod. Except for we're No Cooldown Podcast, except for on Twitter, and that's No Cooldown Pod. I still have not changed that. This is a running joke at this point where I keep forgetting. I ain't gonna lie, this is my mind. I've been mad forgetful about that shit, but it's okay. We have news for you. We have stories for you. We got breakdowns for you. Let's get it, man. Let's get to it. We got a lot of stuff to cover, man. Episode 98. When is you ready?
Born ready,
man. Let's get right to it. Starting, we got 2 main stories this week, and our first main story has to do with Apex Legends. Apex Legends, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is back in the limelight, the low light. I don't know what light you want to think. It might be a prison light, because there might be some actual crimes going down. We have heard word about the changes happening with season 22 and starting with season 22. They're changing the battle pass format to quote unquote improve your experience and progression goals. So with the new changes, they've split the battle pass into basically half a season. So you have to practically pay twice or use 2 battle passes for any given season. Or just a half season entry or whatever. There's been a lot of changes and alternates, addition of a new format, adjustments to the free tier. But the biggest note here that people have been having an eye on is the fact that 950 Apex coins can no longer buy you a premium battle pass. You must pay the battle pass with real money, either the half season premium tier or the premium bundle tier, which is about $20 every half season. So that's a huge change that's just been dropped on us out of nowhere, and there's been a lot of uproar, there's been a lot of pushback, there's been a lot of just absolute fury coming from the Apex community, and it's insane. It's insane. When, talk to me, how are you feeling about these changes to Apex Legends?
Yeah, man. It's really funny because I was thinking, like, I remember the first couple episodes, every time Apex dropped an update, we would cover it. Like, we were that type thing, because we used to really enjoy the game, man. We really used to enjoy the game. And even when we stopped playing, we still liked the game to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, son. So Apex is dead, like high key, low key. It's not actually fully dead, but
But you know,
I can't imagine anybody is really trying to spend $20 every half season. Like, it's just so first things first, the battle pass for Apex has always been ass. I don't think I've ever been in a battle pass that I was like, wow, I need to get to the end of this because these skins are sick. All the good skins are always in the limited time events. Everything else has just been like, okay, cool, colorway, whatever. And recently, if I'm not mistaken, Apex players, please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the Apex people were complaining about how a lot of the limited time events have been recolors. Like, it's skins that are already there, but with a different colorway. So it just doesn't really make sense to me that you guys are putting out whack product and then being like, yo, we finna up the price. Who's buying it?
That's crazy.
Who's buying this?
Hey,
another big red flag.
Hold on, wait, before you say that, there was actually a clip from The Wire that resurfaced just the other day, and it was just like a conversation that two people had. I don't want to spoil the characters, but they were like, yo, like, oh, this product is weak, man, this Heron is weak. And then everybody say that one dude was like, no, listen, if it's weak, they just gonna come back for more, man. It don't matter if it's weak or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter. We get rich. This is the only place where the product can get worse and we'll still get paid more. This Heron is serious, bro. Only that in the government. The only two groups that get paid off of worse product and doing a worse service to people. But continue. I just thought that was funny.
No. That's a very good example, bro. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, and it's funny, if you go to the announcement of this on Twitter, there is a community note letting you know right now, if you got a community note under your tweet, there is a serious issue, either with you or with what you're talking about. But when you're only talking about yourself, you're in a bad spot, bro. Like, they literally said that, hey, this is from community feedback. I don't know what community. I don't know what community they asked.
I know a community. They got some suits and their name rhymes with bear boulders. You know what I mean?
Like, that shit is crazy. Imagine going up to the casual Apex player and being like, yo, how would you feel about paying more money for the battle pass? They'd be like, do you think they're gonna be like, absolutely?
They might drop
absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about, bro? And even when you look at like what's in it, like, none of this shit moves me. I don't like. So can you use Apex coins on the limited time event? I guess, like, it's just, I don't know who this is for outside of the shareholders. I don't know how bad EA needs money, but there are better ways of getting money out of your players. I don't know, make a good game. That shit would solve a lot of fucking problems. But here we are, bro. Here we are. This shit is, I rip Apex. You had a run. You were amazing at the beginning, and it feels like, I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna get a bunch of hate for it. It feels like you should have just retired when you could have. That's what it feels like.
Message me and I'll say it. Hey, so
I was gonna say this shit feels like the Eminem of fucking battle royales. It's like absolutely amazing at the beginning. Like, motherfuckers was loving it, and now it's like, oh my god, bro, chill out. Like, that's what it feels like.
This is nasty work. Brother. Oh man, yeah. Honestly, if there was ever a more poignant state of a game phoning it in and knowing, yo, this is as much as we're gonna do in terms of the qualitative experience of the game at this point, that's it. That we're done. This typifies that, bro. I haven't seen a Swift move that says so much in so little, bro. They were like, listen, basically, with all the whatever shit that we're gonna do, we don't know how much money we're going to be able to secure at this point with popularity waning. Apex, ALGS and stuff like that might not be as peak as it once was from the pandemic era and stuff. We don't know how much money is going to come our way from all the different sources out there. So we're going to make sure we hedge our bets, and we're going to make sure you pay double for the same season pass. We're going to offer basically the same things, and we're going to make sure you're not able to repurchase it with existing Apex coins that you earned through playing the game. We're going to make sure you pay. Listen, man, Apex got EA'd, bro. I knew I'd see the day, but I didn't think the day would come so soon. For a game that sustained itself out of basically nothing, for a game that got given scraps and put EA on so much, I would not expect this day to just arrive so quickly. But that's just how sometimes the business works. You know, it's baffling, bro. It's baffling. It's a this, you know, the Fallout thing. Everyone disliked that. This is such a unilateral. Everyone disliked that. I want to. Oh, I want to see some Apex content creators. I want to see which one of y'all defend this. Which one of y'all will defend this because y'all getting the promo battle pass. Y'all getting some free skins. Which one of y'all gonna defend this? Please. I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What you say, man? Go ahead.
No, it's just sad because like Apex at one point felt like the turning point for EA, because before it, everybody hated EA for a long time, and people were like, "Oh my God, are they finally making like this?" Happened, and the Star Wars game dropped, and then they dropped a bunch of really good indies. It Takes Two, like I thought EA was turning a corner, but you can't. I guess corporate greed was just in remission. I guess that shit is back, huh?
Dog, like a sick pup, bro. It just returned back to you easily. It's just wild. I'm shocked, but like 2 seconds later, I'm not surprised because again, it's EA, but a game that has done so well for you, you would think that with the myriad of problems that are existing in this game, again, the cheaters, the imbalance, the maps, the this, the that, there's at least 20 things on the list. I think screwing up the battle pass to make your player base should get charged more. I don't think that's necessarily top priority. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be for the lifeblood of the game, for the actual longevity and actual sustained success of the game. But people just want growth. They don't want sustainability, and that's another part of the equation. I feel like it's a huge problem just in gaming in general, but in this case specifically, bro. Shareholders are not seeing consistent growth over growth. Their growth is either getting smaller or stagnating. And Apex is now trying to force it, and EA is trying to force the game into a state of growth that's going to ultimately shoot itself in the foot to where it's not going to be able to move anymore. And that's so stupid. They're just, listen, they want to keep having growth. You know what else continues to grow until it kills you? Fucking cancer, bro. It's a cancerous mindset, in my opinion. And you're going to try and keep eliciting inorganic growth at this point. You're making moves that you probably shouldn't do to upset player base to make it look one way to a specific group of people, instead of making changes and applying yourself to the betterment of the game for the entire base, for the people who are exposed to it the most, the players. You know what I mean? Like it's wild how quickly they turned on a dime to make sure they hedge their bets and make sure they're getting money out of people. And for some, they will get money out of people. And that's the unfortunate thing. They will get some money out of people. It's the same Y reference, bro. Even if the product is weaker, some people still might get it. They might even cop twice because it's weaker. They need the hit that they need to feel. It's insane, bro. Again, I'm glad that Helldivers 2 was a thing, because it provided at least a flash of some type of solidarity across the board that everybody saw. Console players saw, you know what I'm saying? PC players, of course, committed to. Everybody in the gaming industry saw that unionization for a cause. Standing on your wallet, standing on your business, standing on your time with these companies. This is another flashpoint to where people should be gearing up to stand on their business and stand on their wallets and say, yo, we don't want to stand for this. I'm not buying it. I'll play, but let's make sure your battle pass sales plummet, because I'm not buying this every half season. This is a moment for Apex players to stand up. Not me, because I don't play the game. I haven't played that game in like 6 seasons, bro. I'm clean. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? The toxins are outside of my body. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sober off that. I don't use that crap no more. You know what I mean? But this is a serious flashpoint, I think, a serious juncture to where Apex fans and the Apex fan base needs to stand up, from creators to players to organizers to all that stuff, because they're getting such a shitty end of the deal. And listen, this is a big standoff to where we can show that, yo, listen, this corporate greed can't stand. We want to be treated with value. You can't just throw anything at us and expect us to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just throw any slop, change the thing, make it even worse, and not change the things that are supposed to be changed and fixed and amended to make the game better. Ignore that. Focus on getting more money and then hand that to us on a plate. You shouldn't stand for that. You know what I'm saying? That is something that is disgusting in my eyes, man. Corporate greed at its absolute worst, but for the shareholders at its absolute finest. And it's it's disgusting, bro. It's really, really wild. Man, they couldn't even keep Apex coins on there. Hey,
bro,
they couldn't even keep Apex coins.
It's a sad sight, you know. I will see you in the next life, Apex, when you come back as some kind of like add-on to Battlefield or some bullshit.
Bro, like, was Apex a mistake? Was it a mistake? There were so many good times.
The Titanfall fans would say yes. The Titanfall fans have been saying this for years.
And that's what's getting me, bro. The more I look at it, the more I've stepped away from Apex, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, we really could have just got Titanfall 3, but now I guess in the background they might make a new Titanfall game that looks more like Apex and stuff like that. I'm just like, is this might have been a mistake. Honestly, if on the balance of scales in the universe, if I would have gotten Titanfall 3, but you know what I'm saying, Apex didn't exist, get Apex out of here. Get it out of here. We'll ship it today. I'll press the red button 3 times, bro. This is insane. Oh my gosh, man. Nasty work. But let's move on to the next story here. Let's talk about Xbox and the other big story. You know what I'm saying? There seems to be a theme with these main plates, this corporate greed in the building. But we kind of expected this was coming. Xbox Game Pass. Price increases have hit the Xbox Game Pass service. There's been a whole lot of reshuffling. There's been a whole lot of movement around with the Game Pass, but the main point is they have incited price jumps with this entire new thing, service changes, service, you know, adjustments, alterations, whatever, what have you. Again, there's a new tier added, so now there's going to be an Xbox Game Pass Core, a Game Pass Standard, an Ultimate PC Game Pass. Of course, all these prices have been adjusted in different ways. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has increased to $19.99 a month. PC Game Pass jumps $2 to $11.99 a month. Game Pass Core Annual increased to $74.99 a month. Xbox Game Pass Console is going to be shuttered for new users, so the current subscribers will be allowed to have their old sub tier, but new ones won't be able to. And then Game Pass Standard is launching in September. That is the brand new tier. That's going to have the Xbox back catalog, the entire thing, but it doesn't include any day one games. That is also a really big point. Day ones are now stuttered between tiers on console. PC will still get everything for $11.99, but for the console tiers, the Ultimate tier is the only way to get exclusives day one. When there's been a whole lot of uproar, there's been a whole lot of opinions. Talk to me about this Xbox Game Pass price jump.
I was saying it, I was like 3 weeks ago now. I feel like I was like talking about how there's no way Call of Duty being on Game Pass isn't gonna equal a price increase. $20 is kind of crazy. And the thing is, like, I was paying like 18, I think. That extra $2, rounding it out to 20, that shit's a little scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really sad to see because the Xbox used to be a crazy deal. Like, I'm gonna be looking back on the days of when Game Pass was like $12, or like, yo, when you sign up, it's $3 months for $1 a month. Like those days, whoo, man, yeah, it's the good old days, the golden age of Game Pass. I'm happy that we get the day one releases. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to pay for Call of Duty, but now I'm paying for Call of Duty because when you do the math, it's like, oh man, I think I did the math earlier, and it was like you're essentially paying $60 more a year, which is an entire game you could possibly buy, lost now because you're just paying for Game Pass. Don't get me wrong though. There's a lot of value in Game Pass. That's the thing that's crazy. There's so much value in Game Pass. But that price increase, I don't think anybody's really happy about it. And especially for the people who don't even care about Call of Duty or some of the day one releases. Some of the people who are here like, yo, I really just loved all the indie games that were on there. I loved all the other the smaller gems on there that I've been playing. Like, I now have to pay extra money. That's kind of buns. Yeah.
This is tough. If you listen to the podcast, we knew this was coming. We knew the price increase was coming. But what I didn't expect is the stuttering of the day one, you know, the day one access to exclusives and stuff onto the Ultimate tier for console. this is a knock. Now, I'm going to give my personal opinion, and then I want to talk about just the general perception of it, because for me, a couple dollars increase to the PC Game Pass, I still get everything. For my personal case, it's a little bit of a hit, but I know I can still manage that. I know I can still pay for that fine, because I know what value I'm getting. It's a big toss up, cool, but for me and my situation, me and my household, we can still mess with Game Pass a little bit, because I can stomach that. There's that for my personal case, but for the general case, this looks like they're I don't know how to fully explain it, but like, yo, it's just like they're is it do they believe in it so much that they're gonna put these tiers up, or are they making sure that, you know, whatever happens, people are gonna get forced into one way and they're gonna use whatever tactic they can to maximize their profit out of this, because people might think a certain way with these changes. Perception might change, because I know the general perception here is Xbox is a little bit on the L side, not even a little bit at this point, because I just think that people see Game Pass now as like a hit to how value's perceived fully. They think in totality of, you can't just buy games anymore, you got to be a part of a subscription service, and they point to Xbox as the main culprit of kind of that mentality shift. And it's a weird place to be in for the general population. I will say that there's a couple of things that Xbox just look really, really funny in the light for. And again, it's just the corporate greed talking. So when I see it's, again, the stuttering of day one exclusives. One, that puts so much more pressure on these exclusives that you have coming up to deliver, because the entire model that you set out, in my opinion, is now predicated on pushing people to the ultimate tier on console, or wherever they have it, but mainly console. You want them to jump to the highest tier to play Xbox day one. So I don't know if you can really use, you know what I'm saying, that level of inclusivity on games and titles uniformly throughout the service's marketing. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, oh, hey, coming day one on Xbox Game Pass. You gotta say coming on Game Pass Ultimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta put the $19.99 at the bottom left hand side of the screen. You can't say that for the entire service. So I think that might devalue how the service is being perceived in the market with the standard tier and the core tier, in my opinion. Like, that like kind of shits on what those other two do. You know what I'm saying? You have to explicitly express why standard and core are still good deals for people, even though they don't want it, that's gonna be hard. I feel like for them, they're gonna want to maximize their profit, and most of their messaging is going to be about pushing people to the ultimate tier, which might come off as a little bit disingenuous to people, because, you know, some people might not like the day one exclusives that you got coming out. And again, circles back to that main first point of, these exclusives have to hit for you to justify this ultimate purchase. Because if you know what I'm saying, the growth ain't there for all these new subscriptions and stuff like that, so you're gonna have to push the money. And if the games don't hit, you are in trouble. And I know they didn't do too much to the PC Game Pass. I know they wouldn't, because consoles in general, they're just gonna be very, very, they're gonna walk on eggshells around the PC market. They know if it get too much, they're getting dropped at the drop of a dime. Honestly, that we know how that go. You saw how PC got handled. PC handled Helldivers 2 and all the PSN stuff. So I understand that didn't change. So again, doesn't really affect my situation as much, but for everybody else out there, this could be a big thing. And also something that I forgot to mention was the stacking change. You know how you used to like kind of pile service, like, you know, you could pile like, okay, a 1 month card on top of a one year card and stuff, and kept pushing it. You know what I'm saying? If you kept buying it, apparently. From later this year, Microsoft's gonna basically limit stacking, so users can only stack Xbox Game Pass for console up to 13 months. So you can only get a year out in line. So this is pure money grab, bro. I don't know. This is pure money grab. How are you seeing people's perception of it? Because I'm like, yo, this is super all or nothing, and people haven't seen the upside, the all of it with the games yet. So I feel like people are taking this way more negatively than positively.
Yeah, the issue is coming down to the fact that like Xbox hasn't delivered really at all. And there are moments where like every time you get like a good Xbox game, you get like 4 that were very disappointing. And the price increase is only going to make people feel worse about it. It's like when HBO puts their prices up. It's like, I love House of the Dragons. I don't know how much I love it that much though. Like when you don't have the quality stuff pushing behind it, you're kind of in a really really weird awkward spot. And the thing that's funny too is that I always felt like Xbox was really the value of Xbox consoles are tied directly to Game Pass at this point, because every game that Xbox has put out that was a day one release, I don't think would have sold if it was not an Xbox exclusive, if it wasn't on Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, Starfield, cool game. That game wasn't going to be moving units like that. I don't think, at least. I would love for the numbers to prove me wrong, but putting the price up is only going to hurt not only your subscription sales, but your hardware sales as well. Because I'm not gonna buy into an ecosystem that is going to be killing me on these purchases, especially if Call of Duty drops and that shit is buns. Like, don't even get me started. Like, that is just like, it's just getting to a point where it's like, where's the value for the casual consumer? Because that's another thing too, is that like PC Game Pass, like you said, will drop it. Like, they don't care. They genuinely have no they don't have any like love for any company. But your console players, man, you're burning the wrong people, is what it feels like. I wouldn't have put up the prices for the consoles. If anything, I would have put up maybe the PC prices. But
and that's a hard tightrope as it is. But again, it's
that's a tightrope as it is. But it's like,
I feel like they've made the decision. You know what I mean? I think they're willing to compromise their console base to make sure they're much more available in the ecosystem. I feel like they're fail-safing in case the console thing fails. You seen the commercial for like how they're going to be doing Xbox on Kindle, Amazon or something like that, Amazon Kindle or not Kindle. Whatever,
the Fire Stick.
Yeah, the Fire Stick. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Kindle, but yeah, like the Fire Stick stuff and all that. To me, not to anybody else, but to me, some of the moves that they've been committing to with the price increases, with the again available ecosystem, this is still consistent with what they're doing. But I feel like now I've kind of opened my eyes and seeing it. I'm like, bro, they're kind of willing to let certain console things fall to the wayside a little bit to make sure that they're available in every single conjurable place in gaming and tech, so they can set themselves up for success to recoup their money. They want to make sure. I think they know deep down that they're in such a hole with the console market that they cannot sustain their sales. They cannot sustain profitability. They can't reach profitability with just the console and the PC stuff alone. So that's why they're kind of like, I wouldn't say abandoning, but they're backseating the console stuff a lot. And I feel like it's just kind of backwards a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, the service should be there to enrich the console. The console should be built up and have the games and the hardware and the services to enrich that. The PC and the other stuff is just extra add-ons to your doctrine of play everywhere. But Xbox, pun intended, the console itself has to be at the core of that experience, or else it's looking funny in the light between Xbox switching between different positions, and we're just like, okay, so what do you want us to believe in? Because it looks like you're doing too many things at once, and if certain things don't hit with the games at the end of the day, which is should be the center of this conversation, the games, you're kind of asked out. You're kind of asked out because nobody wants to play your console because your exclusives aren't hitting. And you know what I'm saying, either they're available on PC, which again, that's not a crazy bit of it, but you don't have enough to sustain that console. And I'm just confused. Well, not confused, I'm just a little bit like taking a step back of just like, okay, where do they have to go from here? I think there's a lot of mixed signals with how they're moving in terms of, oh, we're still committed to the console stuff and blah blah blah, but the price increase on the console I think turned people off, and the ambiguity on if these games are going to hit, which I hope they do, but the ambiguity on that is a little bit, up in the air. And then the uber pushing of different systems on different, peripherals or whatever the hell you want to call it, Amazon and all stuff like that. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know where they go right now. And all I know is they're getting lambasted for this stuff because, like, jumping a deal, making a deal in gaming more expensive when it's the best deal in gaming only serves to hurt the brand that is pushing it. I don't know, man. Where do you think? Where do they go from here, man? Where do they go?
They can't go back. They can't backtrack. I mean, they could. It would be great, but it's gonna look bad on their part, and I don't think they. I think that they know that people were still willing to pay 20. And to an extent, like they're not necessarily wrong. If all you have is an Xbox and all you're doing is paying $20 a month, and you're fine with all the games on Game Pass, like realistically speaking, I don't think it's really that necessarily the worst deal ever, right? Like I don't think $20 if all you do is play Call of Duty and Madden, like you literally get Call of Duty and Madden, like you're kind of fine for right now, and you get online, like it's not the worst. I do think they have to really tread carefully with their next couple of releases, because I don't see this being the only price increase at all. And I don't see, like, I know that they're trying to grow their numbers, but I also hate the idea of like these companies not understanding that like you can keep growing, but at some point you're going to plateau. Like that's just natural. And to like put all this money towards certain things so that you can like keep growing and being like, once we hit this point, we're gonna be okay. We can chill out on raising the prices. You may never hit that point because that point may not exist. And I really think that they should really start planning on evening out and having a good, solid service while also not destroying the pockets of their players. Because at the end of the day as well, like I don't think it's Xbox Game Pass is cool, but I don't think it will be healthy in the long run. You know, like making people only use this service isn't going to be the best thing for gaming, because then it would create some sense of like a monopoly on Xbox. It's like, oh, well, I can make a game for all the systems, including Xbox, but if my game isn't on Game Pass, it's less likely to sell. I'm just gonna go ahead and make my games for PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna go ahead and make my games for PC, because I don't really trust Xbox, because I don't think people who are on that console or on that platform are gonna give a fuck about my game that isn't on Game Pass. You're gonna set up like a new precedent for the people in that ecosystem. And I don't think it's gonna be healthy for game developers. I don't think it's gonna be healthy for the consumer. Like, you know how many people don't buy games now because it's gonna be on Game Pass? Like when I bought Like a Dragon, the guy, the man who erased his name, I was sick when I found out that it was on Game Pass. But then in my mind, I'm also like, I don't mind it, because I love RGG Studios. I want to support them. I want them to keep making games. So I'm like, I don't mind that I paid that money. But imagine if somebody who's getting into the Like a Dragon franchise, it's like, well, should I buy Infinite Wealth or should I just wait for it to go on Game Pass? You know, like these are questions that like game sales are going to be affected by this service. So it's a very weird, sticky situation. Where they can go from here is just giving people a good product and not raising the prices so that they're still able to buy other games that aren't on Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like try to make it so that they don't run the market on video games, because I could see that being a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I was kind of thinking of a different completely. I appreciate that response. I was thinking of a different direction when I talk about what's next, though. I ain't gonna lie, like at least leadership wise, I think honestly by next year they gotta start thinking about who's going to steer the ship in terms of through this patch of just a lot of shit. Because again, I agree with you. I think there's going to be another price increase, probably just before or just after Call of Duty drops this year. I completely believe that.
I think it's gonna be in December. That's my month. I'm picking.
I can completely believe that's on the way. And with that, I feel like there has to be some better communication and steering of the messaging and the streamlining of perception for Xbox, because now, again, literally, I don't know if you saw it in the notes, there's a whole ass tier chart. There's a chart for this shit now. Instead of just 3 tiers, there's a chart for this. And now I'm confused. Now I'm just like, oh, down there's freaking 4 or 5 tiers of this, and I don't know where the hell to look, and like it's getting to a point where it's becoming convoluted for the sake of, you know, just for the sake of it. At this point, they want to make something fit, and it looks so confusing to us. Bottom line, point blank, this is still a great deal. The service is still a great deal, but there's so many knock-on effects, and these price hikes, I think, we haven't seen the end of them. We're edging closer to the point of where is the real value in this for, you know what I'm saying, for people, if we're going to keep price hiking, and if these games do or do not hit. If they don't hit, then I think that's where the real tipping point of this whole service is going to go. If we're sitting here at the end of the year in 2025 and we're seeing all these games drop and they don't hit, PC Game Pass in general as a whole, Xbox as a brand, there's huge question marks on investing in this if you're not able to produce in an ecosystem that's designed to give you access to great things. Where are the great things in it? You know what I mean? I think that's a big sticking point for me. It all comes back down to the games and the hotness that you get. And of course, it's gonna be the classics in the service. That's great, but keeping up with the Joneses and a PlayStation and a Nintendo with the new stuff you're dropping every year, it comes down to that for me, because people they'll eat that price. They'll eat whatever price. You know what I'm saying? They'll do whatever if you're dropping good shit. To me, I think the focus should be there, whether they're dropping that level of quality to sustain that service price, the price increases or not. And we'll see where they end up, but right now they got to take the L for jumping that price up. I know the FTC about mad as a bitch, bruh. Government mad as hell, boy. They said, listen, they wasn't gonna do that shit. They gonna blame something else, but they gonna side eye. I'm like, oh, man, we know. But let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about the quick bites. We got a lot of quick stories for you, just to run through really, really quickly. When I know you were speaking quickly about RGG, and they have teased the next Like a Dragon game after Infinite Wealth. They basically did a quick quote on the Video Games Chronicles, said we can't tell you what kind of game it is, but I will tell you, you'll be surprised. So I mean, I don't know where we could go. I don't know what we could do. It could be a whole different shift. I don't know what's happening, man. They got the TV series coming out and a new game coming out, but what are you expecting from the new game, or what do you think it could be?
I am gonna put my money on a Like a Dragon kart racer. It's gonna be like Jack X.
Let's go.
But with Like a Dragon. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna throw a banana peel, spin Kiryu out, and then you're gonna find out like his long lost father, and it's gonna get real sad and real dramatic. So I can't wait.
Hey man, I'm with that, bro. As long as somebody can wear like a lobster suit or some shit on the beach, and you know what I'm saying, we can get something popping. But listen, whatever they drop, they've been in a good vein of form, man. So I assume it's gonna be solid work. Here, let's slide on to Bare Butt Boxing. It's a brand new game arriving early access on August 1st. Thank you. What's it called? I'm very. What the hell's going on? This is what I'm saying. Why so many cheeks on the screen? But looks like a fun time. How you feeling?
I definitely want to punch some ass, I suppose. I definitely will be tapping in. I love games like this because it's just like, it's so silly. It's so random. Shout out to the people who made this, because like I can definitely see a good week of like having a bunch of fun with the homies, just like punching each other. They're like, this is right here is like a quintessential, like, you throw this bad boy on Game Pass, it's definitely gonna get some plays.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, no. This going right into that pocket of, you know what I'm saying, the party animals, the, you know what I'm saying, the poem party, all that stuff. This actually looks really, really fun. Different game modes, automatic custom matches and stuff off the rip, customization and everything. It looks like a fun time. Looks like a cool fun time. I know. Again, the streamers gonna love that. All right, let's keep it pushing and let's talk about Midnight Murder Club. The folks behind Knockout City, they're still alive. They're here, and they have announced a brand new 6-player first-person hide-and-seek multiplayer game. Again, Midnight Murder Club. It looks really, really cool, man. Again, a lot of different modes. You got 2v2v2, free-for-alls, whole death matches, hunters and hunted. Just a huge hide-and-seek style game, which looks pretty interesting, man. Wonder how you feel about it.
It looks good. They have experience making cool multiplayer games. I like that they're going for very different approaches to multiplayer games. They're kind of like going in different areas. Like they did Knockout City, which was sick. A game that honestly a lot of people didn't know they wanted.
Facts.
And I really just enjoy that they're not necessarily trying to recreate the run-of-the-mill, let's make a 6v6 shooter, or let's make a hero shooter, or let's do XYZ. Like, I like that they're trying out new things and creating these games, because You never know. Like this may be really important to some people. Like I could see this being a hit for a lot of streamers.
Nah, 100%, man. I know this is gonna be some spooky shit, bro. And I think I think it looks fun. I think this looks fun, 100%. People gonna be spooked out their mind, bro. And I'm in, bro. The people behind Knockout City, they have, I think at this point they have a penchant to make multiplayer experiences. Unfortunately, their untimely cutting of support was bad from Knockout City, but I think they have enough interest for me to check it out. So shout out to them. Midnight Murder Club, we're definitely gonna keep an eye out. All right, let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi. Yes, we have some more information about the new game that will be on the way. It will be an open world, massively multiplayer AAA game. Sega has dropped some more information on it, and that's where we're headed in terms of the game's scope and how it's going to look and how it's going to feel. Dang, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. But how you feeling about the direction of this game?
Man, this shit could be so silly. I imagine like you're just driving around, you're 16 people on a map, and there's only like one person who needs a taxi, so everybody's like drifting trying to get over there, or even just like you're trying to drop somebody off, and then a random player hits you. You're like, yo, bro, come on, you're messing up the score, bro. Like, move out the way. Like, oh man, I can see this being really. At first, I saw it and I was like, ew, I don't need that. But then I was like, I don't know, it could also be cool because as long as it's not like. I think GTA has fried my brain of ever wanting open world with other players because I'm like, in GTA, like they're like, yo, can you go deliver this? And then you get blown up for no reason. Yeah. Like with this though, as long as it's not like, as long as there's not a incentive to get in other people's way, as long as it's just like, yo, it just happens, I think it'll be a really fun time. But if it's like, yo, we need people to troll, it's like, all right, this is gonna be annoying.
Yeah, no, 100, man. As long as they keep certain mechanics there, again, like either you can phase to jump to people or whatever, like you said, like
there's some stuff,
a scarce amount of targets to pick up and drive. You know what I'm saying? That would be cool. That'd be cool. Or maybe have separate modes for that. If there are going to be like like freaking interlopers and stuff on your your drop offs and drives and stuff, make that a separate mode. You know what I'm saying? Add a little bit of variety in there, and I think it's gonna be a fun time. I think this could be a really, really fun time. Again, Crazy Taxi, the high octane chase shit, a whole lobby full of people just running after different cab fares and stuff. That's fire to me. So I'm invested. I can't wait to see what they do with that. All right, man. Let's slide forward. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid, man. The series producer, Noriaki Okamura, he said, in a recent, interview and deep dive and stuff, there was a question that was posed. The question was, is there any chance that the original staff members will return to work on, co-develop, or supervise any of the Metal Gear series? Now, there was an interesting response to that question. Part and parcel, he said, basically, speaking for myself, personally, I would love nothing more than to bring Hideo Kojima and the rest of the team again to work on something in the Metal Gear series. If that could happen, that would be the dream. And when I think that's the dream of a lot of Metal Gear Solid fans who are tried and true. Talk to me about his wishes.
I just don't see two chefs cooking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just like, that's like me saying like, yo, I would love to bring back the dude who worked my job and lose my job. Like, like I watched the Hideo Kojima documentary that was on Hulu, and he's very particular about like every detail of his games. So I can't imagine him coming back and being like, oh, we would love to work with Kojima on his game. Like you're not really working with him unless he's like your pseudo director, unless you're like, yo, I'm calling him to make sure all this stuff like checks out. Like I could see maybe in that capacity, but honestly, unless it's Konami being like, yo, we're gonna give you the license for these games, like I don't really see it happening. But of course, I also don't want to rule it out like it's never going to happen, because you don't know. Maybe one day he might feel like, a little nostalgic or sentimental, or it could be like a one-time thing. Maybe he's like, yo, I want to actually finish out the rest of the franchise. I want to put a nice little bow on it. But honestly, if they really wanted Kojima to stay at Konami should have just let him stay at Konami. Y'all should have just treated him better. I don't know, bro. Like, I would love to be waiting on another Metal Gear Solid game, but you know, I'm already tapped into Death Stranding at this point. Like I've accepted that ship has sailed.
Yeah, this is my thing. It's well documented that this is probably one of the most heated beefs and breakups in gaming history. I think again, this incident of Kojima leaving is the thing that propelled him to a different level in terms of like status and clout in terms of public perception, in my opinion. People he did wrong. They know what work he did on the Metal Gear series. Konami stripped that away from him, and he was basically turned into hero off of that shit. Again, his work is already solidified, fantastic. But the fact that it went down the way it went down, it pulled him to a different stratosphere. I think, in my personal opinion, I think Kojima's the type of mind to where a part of him would love to, but he knows his creative sense has moved on to so many more things. Maybe again, if they have the right of way and if they give it back to him, he would love to continue with work it down and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he thinks about it fairly often, but I think creatively he has so many other avenues to explore that he just kind of compartmentalizes it and puts it away. So for the rest of the team, whatever, at Konami, I'm sure they would love to have his name back on it. I'm sure they would love it. They would get sales at the wazoo. They would have no problems. But I think now this is a ball is in Kojima's court for them to either come forth. If they want something to happen, that's up to them for them to, you know, make right at this point. In a perfect world, there's either two possibilities. They sell the IP, or you know what I'm saying, or sell the rights to license, or give a priority license to Kojima Productions and make sure he's at the helm of that shit, and they give him his just due. He put his name back on everything. They reinstate all that stuff, make sure he gets fully credited for the work that he did. Or there's some collaboration of the two, and everybody's there, and there's completely, you know, there's a complete air of collaboration there between the Konami team, which I think they have a lot of regard and respect in terms of the devs, and Kojima Productions, and they work together on it. But it's not a perfect world, so it's not happening. And also, for people who are kind of just in the stars about this, he's still making that one action espionage game Fizzent, so it's not it's impossible, guys. I'm sorry. I hate to crush y'all dreams. I'm sorry, Mr. Okamura. I hate to crush your dreams. That shit not happening. It's not. But yeah, one can dream though. One can dream. I wish there was world peace. I wish there was world peace too.
Yeah, you can't go the Kojima route and just walk back. Like they martyred that man. That man was martyred, and then was like, I've never seen a live martyr. But essentially, what they did to that man when he dropped out of there, like Sony was like, we don't even got shit for you, but we believe in you, bro. Like that's kind of crazy.
He just pulled up with the logo and said, "Hey, yo, we backed this man. We got him." Like what?
He made a cool astronaut, and Sony was like, "We're all in." Like that's crazy. That's a movement.
That's crazy work. That's real motion, bruh. That's real motion.
That's crazy motion.
I just don't think Konami, and especially Konami executives who were there, I think some of them might still be there from the time that happened. I don't think they're in a position to apologize and actually make up with Kojima. I think we've just kind of moved beyond that point to where there's any collaboration. If that ever happened, that'd probably be a top 5 greatest happenings in gaming, in my opinion, because that was one of the biggest incidents in history. But sorry, no dice, man. All right, let's keep it pushing here. Let's talk about Final Fantasy XIV, man. Square Enix and Tencent have seemingly, reportedly, allegedly been planning a mobile version of Final Fantasy XIV that could be on the way. Now, there was a deal with Tencent back in 2018 where they were starting to work on some things, and it seems like there may be some movements to get Final Fantasy XIV on mobile. How you feeling about this?
Man, I know motherfuckers gonna be cooking steaks with their phones after this. As somebody who has friends who play Final Fantasy, I know how much time this game requires, and I could easily see people being like, "Yo, I'm gotta go on a raid," and their phones are just extremely hot, moving around. Like, there's a lot that goes on in that game, man. Power to the people, and I do think mobile games are really dope for people who don't have PCs or consoles and stuff like that. But damn, man, I could already hear phones like overheating.
Yeah, nah, I ain't gonna lie. Honestly, but I think we're getting close to the point where a lot of phones are gonna be sustainable. A lot they can sustain some things like that. Now, given an MMO of that caliber and size is ridiculousness. That is hefty. Yeah, you gonna be cooking something, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I just can imagine somebody being in a raid and then somebody like, damn, my phone died. So you lost your healer because his phone died. Like, oh my God, bro. I can only imagine how mad I would be. But I also could see this being like pretty cool for certain people. I remember when I was on like a work trip and all I had was like my cell phone. Pokemon Unite got me through it, you know? Pokemon Unite got me through it. But I don't know if I'm gonna be playing a whole MMO on the go. Like the internet coming in and out. Like, oh my God, you're in the middle of a raid and then you get that notification that's like, hey, do you want to connect to any of these Wi-Fi's? And you're like, no, wait, no, and like it messes up the whole thing. Oh man, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
That's insanity. We'll see how that goes in time, bro. But interesting developments, man. The mobile market, they're jumping to new levels, man. Jumping to new levels. But let's slide on. Let's talk about the comeback of a very, very interesting series, man. Double Dragon is alive. Yes, you've heard it here. Double Dragon is alive. Arc System Works have announced a 3D Double Dragon games coming to all platforms in 2025. Again, just a real big reproduction of the old school side scroller beat 'em up. Dope, man. You got all the characters coming back, you know what I'm saying? Roper, Obobo, all them joints, you know what I'm saying? In 3D, full live living color. We got some footage of it as well. It was looking really, really cool. How do you feel about Double Dragon making its return?
If there's anybody I trust making a game with fighting, it is Arc Systems. Arc Systems does make some bangers. However, I don't think I've ever played a 3D Arc Systems game, to be honest. It is still a side scroller, but it does look like there's gonna be some three-dimensional movement. So I'm interested. I'm not against this at all. But it is like one of those things like, I ain't never seen y'all do this before. But Arc Systems, when it comes to making fighting games, like they cook. So I'm gonna have to keep my eye on this for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, we gonna figure it out, brother. We gonna figure it out. But again, I think the animations look like really, really good. I like it looks solid, bro. For the first little drop of footage that we had, it looked good to me, man. And I remember playing a little bit of Double Dragon. My older brother used to love Double Dragon, and that's dating me as a young boy. That's fine. But like, Double Dragon was actually like really, really fun from what I remember. Like the bits and pieces I remember of actually playing with my older brother. So I'm interested. This is again in the radar and the criteria of games that should be revived and brought back. This makes sense. I don't know if I've seen anything Double Dragon in like literally 20 years. So. This is good to me. This fits the criteria. I'm glad that they're doing it. Arc System Works. We have faith in you as a studio. So we'll see what comes of it. Let's keep it pushing. Let's talk about a quick note on AAA games. Apparently, we got just an insider report from Insider Gaming that basically says that AAA games, they're announced early for fear of being canceled, according to some developers here. I believe it was Mark Dara who created the Dragon Age series. He's a consultant on Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Had a YouTube channel. He kind of just talked about this a little bit. And one of these reasons that kind of came up about, like, why do trailers get such an early drop? Why do trailers get such an early announcement? One of these things is added. It's a really good strategy for, like just keeping the game alive, not making sure it's, ensuring that it sees earlier days or later days or more days past, infancy. So how do you feel about this?
It does change my mindset on what I used to think, because I used to always be like, yo, don't tell me nothing about the game until it's ready to release. But when you're in a position where it's like either we bring up the hype so we can prove to the shareholders that the game is going to be good or that the game is wanted, or we cancel the game, like, I understand why you have to do it. It's quite unfortunate that's like the reality of what the world is, because I still think that it is better for the consumer. It is better to know about it maybe 6 months out than it is to know about it 3 years before you ever even see the game. I hate seeing marketing rollouts for games that aren't going to be out for another fucking 18 years, it feels like. But I would also not want to see good games canceled that I never heard of. Like, that's another thing too, is like, when we hear those stories of like, this was going to be a game that came out and it never did. Like, everybody's like, wow, I would have loved that game. Like, what if they would have announced it early? Maybe we would have actually been able to see it, or maybe see some kind of development into it, you know. But it sucks to hear that, and I wish it was different. I wish things were different.
Yeah, I think just because how the state of the industry is now specifically, I feel like there's such a pressure on everybody, on all components of a development process, from developer to publisher to, you know, to everything else in the middle. I think that, again, it's twofold, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, still have some investor confidence in, like, you know, publishers and big companies are like, oh, you know, it's like, for example, let's say 2K or Take-Two, whoever picked up 2K recently, whatever, like, yo, Borderlands 4 is coming, it's on the way, and they don't say anything else. People are going to get excited, and investor confidence might go up, which means more people might buy into the company, and that might keep the project alive for longer, because, you know, it's just, oh shoot, Borderlands on the way, we got something to look forward to, let's make sure this game is supported and stuff like that. And again, you couple that with the reasoning of kind of recruitment for jobs and people on the project. It changes my mind state. It definitely does change my mind state on, you know, hearing things early. I know personally I can ignore it, but now I can at least understand why that is the way it is, so I don't have to like bash it every time I see, you know, the new Elder Scrolls whatever 6 or 7 or blah 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 released in 2018 and we ain't heard a peep since. And it's interesting because, I mean, they'll say that and we assume, oh, full development, we're assuming they're full steam ahead, blah blah blah. But now as you think about it, that could mean a lot of things. Now in development could mean a lot of things. It could be one person working on the trailer by himself and it's just a random like back screen and the title of it. That could mean in development. They could just be doodling stuff like that for the scripts. That could mean in development. That could be several different things. So there's just a lot more to consider, I guess, with, like, you know, considering the AAA marketing swing and how to talk about games that are yet to be released. It's an interesting conversation, but yeah, for the sake of games staying alive, understand.
Yeah, like it is what it is at this point.
It is what it is, man. But let's slide forward. Let's talk about Elden Ring. Now, I know while all the craze about Shadow of the Erdtree is out and about, it's around, I want to talk about a quick little story here about the creator of Elden Ring, Mr. Hidetaka Miyazaki. He just kind of discusses in an article with PC Gamer how he just prepares for he prepared for Elden Ring, you know, kind of sit down with PC Gamer, and he just plain up said it. He sucks, bruh. He sucks. He said he absolutely is trash at video games. No, full stop. So basically, he wanted to use everything that the game had to offer. He said he was using mimic tiers, he was using summons, he was using, you know what I'm saying, he was using all this little stuff here. He was doing items, everything that he could get his hands on in the game. The guy who made it, he made sure he used, because he sucks at video games. And this just kind of opened up a conversation to me about how we're approaching difficulty. Miyazaki sucks, and that's okay. That is okay. Let's just have a breakdown, because I know that's been the topic of conversation over the past few weeks about, oh, difficulty and journalists are beating the game, but gamers aren't. People are quitting, going back, you know what I'm saying, losing their minds over this, streaming this for 18 hours, not getting nowhere, but people are mad at them. Oh, you won this way, it's a Mickey Mouse win, da-da-da. Talk to me about difficulty in Elden Ring at this point in time.
I think the game is hard, and I think we all agree on that. I think it's funny because, like, I think this will be used as like, well, Miyazaki sucks at the game, and look, he says that he still beat it. And it's also something to remember is like, while that is like, it is a funny anecdote that like, oh, you know, even he says it's hard, but he's able to beat it. He made the game. I'm sure he's able to beat it, because I know he knows what the mimic tiers are. He knows what the attack patterns are. Like, come on now. Even though it's quote unquote hard for him, and you know he's able to beat it, it's kind of just funny to think about, because like, he made the fucking game. He knows what to do. Like, you could suck at video games, but still have all the information because you created the game. And if he did it, he could just text somebody like, yo, what was the thing that we put on this map so that I can figure out to do X, Y, Z? Like, come on now. I think it's really funny that he said that. I do love his transparency, though. I will say that. Like, I am a fan that he's like, yo, I suck at this game. And honestly, like, he's real for that. Like, that's really dope. I will never not say that we don't need an easy mode for this game, because I still think that it'd be like cool just to have, just to be able to like, you know what, I don't want to have to go and fight the fire giant a million times. I just want to experience the world. Like, there's just so many cool things that you could do in this game that some people will never do because they just don't feel like doing it. And I know, like, God forbid we reward the lazy people. I paid money for this game. I should be able to enjoy it however the fuck I want. Like, suck my dick. I'm supporting this game. I should be allowed to play this game in any way that I feel comfortable playing this game. That's just a fact. That is it. I don't have to imagine paying money to do more work. That shit is crazy to me. But besides the point, Miyazaki will always be a real one. I love the work that he's done. I will always disagree that the game needs an easy mode or even just like cheats. Like, I think that shit would just be sick to do. Imagine just like I see those clips of like the jet flying around and blowing up all the bosses, and I think that shit is hilarious. Like, why can't I just do that in game? Like, why not? But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Elden Ring difficulty.
Yeah, I really don't have too much to add besides the fact of, like, are y'all really that mad over people to be, you know, beating a game how they want? Is it that's been the thing with me about games in general, especially multiplayer games or games that are games that are socially experienced. Some people are incredibly mad about how somebody completes a game in a different way. I have my, you know what I'm saying? Again, just to kind of double down and make sure I cover my bases, because metas are a different thing. If everybody does the same thing, it's stupid, in my opinion. If everybody does it, everybody sees the variety of options out there and continues to do the same thing because, oh, it gets there a little bit faster or whatever for pure performance instead of fun, that's stupid to me. But this, what's the word? I guess it's not necessarily bullying, but like this pushing of the agenda that you have to do it in a certain way with no summons and I spent this money myself. I paid that $40 for this DLC, and when I hop on this game, I'm gonna beat it how I see fit. Hold my balls. That's what you can do. That's the difficulty in this game right now. That's the difficult thing that y'all seeing right now. I don't understand how people are so adamant on forcing their way of playing, the most hardcore way, on everybody else. The game is already hard enough. Why do you want us to jump up difficulties by ourselves by shoehorning us into a certain play style? That makes no sense to me. I bought the game. I'm gonna beat it how I see fit. I don't care. I'm gonna have the achievement anyways. Are you? You know what I'm saying? If you beat it your way, cool. I don't think there's no extra achievement saying, oh, beat it. Oh, what's it called? Beat Millennia. The non-Mickey Mouse way with no summons. I don't think there's an achievement for any of that, bro. I think there's an achievement for just beating her. So that's where we're at. If Miyazaki do it, I can do it too. I don't care. So that is what it is, bro. Hold my nuts if you hate.
And it was a lot of people who were saying like, yo, you're playing it wrong. You shouldn't be playing it XYZ, who are now complaining that the DLC is too hard. Yeah. And it's like, because
that's so funny. So funny.
Guess what? Fucking shit now scales. If I'm not mistaken, the DLC scales to your level. So now it is straight up raw skill. It's not, hey, I grinded 3 hours in the same patch of grass to level up my character to max level and I beat it, so I'm good at the game. Like, yo, it's time to get good, baby. Have fun with that.
For real, bro. Like, they want to talk about skill and all that. Like, bro, like it's real now. It's real, son. Like, it's just wild, bro. I'll save the extra difficult stuff to the people like beating the game with their brain waves and doing it on DDR pads, bro. I'm cool. I just want to beat the game regularly. I just want to enjoy it. And it's a balance. It's just a balance to these things. On one side, this game is not going to be for everybody. Certain games are not for everybody. Everything is not for everyone. Everything's going to have their audience. Everything's going to have their, again, skill, level of difficulty and all stuff like that goes into what you consume in terms of gaming, in terms of everything, but specifically in this case of gaming. You know yourself. If you can't do it, if you're gonna like tear your hair out and punch a hole in the wall every time you die, maybe the game's not for you. Maybe you can't beat the skill gap. But if you want to take on the challenge, that's the key here. If you want to take on the challenge, if you want to get the satisfaction of beating a difficult boss, because that's how the game is geared. If you want to beat rise to the challenge and have the satisfaction of overcoming that difficulty that's set in the game. If you're willing to undertake that, then that's your personal choice, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. But on the other side, how I choose to rise to that challenge is none of anybody else's business but mine. If I use mimic tears the whole way through, that's how I did it. I don't care. I win. People who use magic and cast all the time from the other side of the room, shing, 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 all the swords like Loretta and stuff like that. That's how they won, and I will not knock them. I won't knock them, bro. You know what I'm saying? To troll, maybe a little bit, but I won't really knock them seriously because that's how they beat the game. It's available in the game. It wasn't a cheat. They didn't use any Game Shark or nothing like that to add it into the game. That's how it was. That's just how it is. So listen, man. Difficulty in Elden Ring. If you beat the game, you beat the game. That's my thing, bro. That's what it is. If you didn't use any cheats or hacks or whatever and just use what was available to you in the experience, then you won just as much as anybody who just as much as let me solo her, bro. You've done just as much as him to beat this game. Now, if you're doing anything extra like getting no hits and stuff like that, that's the extra expectations you set on yourself. It's all self-paced. It's all within the bounds of what you allow and accept. Don't let anybody else tell you different. All right, man. That was good conversation right there. But let's move on to the trailer trove, man. Let's talk about the trailer trove, more watchable media, all that other stuff you sit back and relax and get into. The first story, though, is kind of about the last story. In specific, Elden Ring, and George R.R. Martin hinting on some type of Elden Ring media, whether it be a TV series or just a movie. I don't even know, something. But there was a quote from George R.R. Martin that said, you know what I'm saying? And about these rumors you may have heard about a feature film or television series based on Elden Ring, I have nothing to say. Not a word. Nope, not a thing. I know nothing. You've never heard a peep from me. What rumor? And on top of that, Miyazaki had some interest in an Elden Ring movie that he stated about a few weeks ago, as of June 26th, I believe. He said a very strong partner would have to come into play to talk about that movie and make it happen. But there could be some movement on an Elden Ring something in some capacity in live action. So how do you feel about that?
I think that an Elden Ring movie would be epic. Like, I think it would be amazing because just looking at Elden Ring now, just like the music, the character cutscenes, the design, like it would just be stunning. I hope that it's like a CGI movie similar to some of the Final Fantasy movies as opposed to like a live action. But if it's live action, I think it still could be done. But like you said, you need to bring in some serious partners and some serious work, because like I would hate to see it becoming like a budget film. Like if you're gonna do Elden Ring, you got to do it on like a grand scale, or maybe even, I think a TV series might work a little bit better, or maybe like an anthology, not necessarily like a TV series following one character, but like we're just following the different stories in the world. But I think that it's a game that could definitely look really sick on the big screen.
100%. Imagine like the Radagon fight and stuff like that, just huge set pieces. Freaking what's his name? Horror Low did the whole set piece with like the Elden chairs and stuff like that, the Grand Court or whatever they call it. Like Horror Low just pulled up and stuff, or you know what I'm saying, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, like that. I can just imagine the set pieces would be immaculate, bro. Again, translation is such a big thing. Translation is such an important thing. And with other movies getting not so great reviews, Borderlands, oh gosh, you're getting murdered. It's such an important thing to really grab and really grasp what can be easily translated to the big screen or to a TV series and make that work. I think Elden Ring in a movie format, that'd be fantastic. Literally, give me a whole thing. You don't even have to give me all the bosses, bro. Literally just like a couple fights here and there, skirmish, maybe a quick little montage. Give me the Radahn fight in full. Give me the Radagon fight in full. Don't care about the Elden Beast, and we're fine. Like, it just along that path. Or I mean, an extended Netflix series would be cool, but you got to put that money into it. Like more than Halo got for a series and stuff like that, to up all the assets and CGI or whatever you need to do, the practical effects. But I think that would be great. Elden Ring show translates to me very, very well. So I think that would be it, man. They would be all over that. All right, let's slide on, man. We have finally got a trailer for a character who was on a 9-episode series for about half of it, Agatha All Along. dropping on Disney Plus on September 18th. We got that first look in at the show that was renamed like 80 times, but it's here now. How do you feel about the first trailer for this?
Man, I wish there was I feel like I don't care isn't enough. I think there needs to be like something more than that. Not even like, I'm happy that the people who were looking for this are getting this, I suppose. I just don't really care. I have hated, and I've said this multiple times, I've hated what they've done with the Marvel TV shows. It's really interesting because I don't think that the TV shows are bad. I just don't care for them because the way that they were presented to me was similar to, like, if anybody listen to the podcast, watches anime, it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z movies back in the day where they're like, they're not really canon, they're cool, but like they're not really canon. And now anime movies are starting to do this thing where like the movies are somewhat canon, or they actually are canon. And it's annoying that like I'll hear people being like, yo, I hate the Demon Slayer is making the finale into movies. Like, that's just whack. But then like I gotta go watch Agatha shit to watch fucking new TV, the new movies. Like, nah, man, I'm good off of this. I don't know why she got her own show. I think the actress is great though. That's the only reason.
Catherine Hahn's fantastic,
bro. Amazing. She's so fucking good. Every scene I've seen her in is great. But I don't want to watch this show. Like, that's really what it comes down to. I really don't want to watch this show, and I think it's mostly because Disney Plus is like the last big streaming service to come out, so I don't own it or really want to pay for another one. And it's like, how bad do I really want to see Agatha? I don't really care. I don't even want to watch the movies at this point anymore. Like, I'm so burnt. But shout outs to her for getting a show. That's the big takeaway from this is I'm happy she has her own show. Like, she is a great actress. She's doing a phenomenal job with the character. I just don't care.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like, this is Marvel's in such a dilemma right now because they went from a period of dropping too much shit that it was so much sensory overload and too much to get after and try and keep up with, and to now it's really scarce and they're trying to reshuffle everything. But now the release slate, they're kind of like, we're waiting in the wings for Deadpool and Wolverine, we're waiting in the wings for, you know, what's it called, Fantastic Four, and those big projects that are on the way. But like in between, it's like, damn, we don't got nothing, bro. The last couple things haven't been as impactful outside of what Guardians 3. The Marvels was cool, but again, like, people aren't really checking in for it like that. And now it's like we're kind of, we've hit the opposite end of that spectrum to where we're fighting for scraps a little bit, in my opinion. Interest level, again, we can kind of already tell where this is gonna go. She's gonna find new power, you know what I'm saying? Agatha's stuck in an illusion. What's it called? What's her name? Wanda dies, or allegedly dies. I don't even know, from the Doctor Strange stuff. And you know, she finds a new power to escape the illusion that she was put in, or the world that Wanda put her in. And she finds a new, you know, cult of people, a new coven, and she moves on. Like, that's basically how this whole thing is going. See a character tease, move on, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what we're doing here. And is the character as impactful enough or interesting enough on her own? Catherine Hahn can make it that, but on Agatha Harkness's own volition, is that an interesting enough character to hold their own series? Maybe not. The clout of the song definitely pushed it into this. That's fair. And maybe will I watch this? Maybe, I don't know. I might binge it and stuff at the end of like October or something like that, Halloween season. I don't know. Maybe. But off rip, I'm not interested. I'm not. I've been off of Marvel for a good little while. It's gonna take them a long time to really heat up properly. And I feel like the misstep with doing too much right after the end of Endgame, and put them in this predicament to where they've kind of fumbled a lot of pieces in translation, and now they have to kind of stop, do a full stop, put everything on the ground, reshuffle, restructure, and pick it up and go again. And I feel like, unfortunately, Agatha's got to bear the brunt of some of that.
Yeah, I truly wish they would just take a break, and it doesn't even need to be a crazy break. Like, just reduce it to maybe 1 or 2 movies a year. It doesn't need, or 1 TV show a year, you know? Like, it's okay. But when you put on like a new, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't watch Game of Thrones if they had a new new season every quarter. Like if there's a new season every quarter and it's like, oh, this one has to do with Dorne, but this one has to do with this side. Like I wouldn't care. It's too much. Slow it down. There's enough time. You didn't need to throw every single person at us with a TV show. And maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's a contract thing, maybe they're like, yo, we're trying to squeeze as much out of these people as possible before we age them out. But you're squeezing us, you know. I'm tired of being squeezed, Disney. Let me go.
Oh man, yeah, nah, it's squeezing getting crazy, brother. Not the kind that I like on a weekday, but it is what it is. We're gonna keep it pushing. Let's talk about Horizon, man. Let's talk about Horizon and how the TV project that they had has been canceled, no longer going forward. Just had that thought. It's pretty much it. It's canceled. It's gone. That's it. It's scrapped. When how you feel?
I gotta play these games, man. I gotta play these games.
Every time this topic comes up, like, I gotta play these games, dog. I still gotta play through the second one, but I get you.
Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, man, motherfuckers just don't care, without playing and being like, man, because I don't know if it's because the games are just not that interesting or if it's just because like sexism, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I gotta play them myself, because I'm like, maybe these games are actually gas and I'm not tapped in, because I did enjoy the time that I spent with it, but it always just came out at the worst times. It sucks that it's getting canceled, because I feel like this is I feel like it's a low-key an easier game to adapt than like something like God of War, you know. The big robots will definitely be an issue, but I do think that it wouldn't be impossible, and I do think that it flows pretty well. And it's also very unique too. That's what I like about Horizon, is that there really isn't anything like it. So like this would have been a really cool TV show, just because like I think people would have seen the robot deer and be like, oh, something new. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If you make a Ghost of Tsushima, people are gonna be like, oh, is this just Shogun? Like people who don't play the games, are they like, oh, is this just like Shogun or something? Like they're gonna be ignorant to it. But like there is nothing on TV that is like Horizon, which is why I'm like a little sad that this didn't get a TV show.
Yeah, apparently the rumor was that, well, one, they think a big reason was behind this kind of closing was the showrunner was Steve Blackman, who did the Umbrella Academy. I think he's come under fire for a lot of different allegations I am not privy to at this moment.
No.
Yeah, so that was one thing, and apparently just about the premise and stuff like that. Apparently it was going to be Horizon 2074. So I don't. The rumor was it wasn't going to be centered around Aloy specifically. It wasn't necessarily going to be her in the forefront of it. Could it be just different time period in that timeline of Horizon, which is interesting in and of itself. I mean, going away from it. In many other cases, I would be fine if this is true. If that was true, that it wouldn't be around Aloy. In many other cases, I would say that's perfectly fine. That's normal. I would love to see the different side of a universe that isn't focused on the main characters that we got beat to death in the games. I would love that. But with a series as, I would say, underdeveloped or underexposed to the public eye in the mainstream as Horizon Zero Dawn. I know, again, so well in the gaming sphere, it does really well. I think it does pretty solid in the gaming sphere. I like the world, but to the mainstream media, you gotta focus on Aloy to give yourself the best chance to survive and thrive. The clout from the games. Oh, this is the person we know. This is the tribe we know. This is Aloy. This is the, you know what I'm saying, our same power set. Keeping that uniform to where the brand isn't as strong in the mainstream, that's probably the play you needed to go. And them potentially changing that format to go to a different time period in the same universe, not it. That's not it. Not it. So a lot of things just didn't go right for this series. That's tough. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But you know, they'll be all right. You know,
the $1 billion company will be okay.
Facts. Moral of the story is we gotta play these games. We gotta play.
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right, man. Let's move on to the next story here. Let's move on. Let's move on to a quick note about GTA, Red Dead, Rockstar. Rockstar's co-founder Dan Houser had a quick aside, just kind of talking about why they turned down a lot of movie deals that they got for Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. There's a couple points here from the Ankler, and just the main snippets here. One, this is from, you know, some time ago in the past. So there's a couple points that they said. One, they wouldn't have creative control. So that's a big reason that they kind of turned them down. 2, most video game adaptations at that time a few years ago were of poor quality. They were not going to be good at all. 3, it was not worth risking their big ass IPs. They were not going to let them go. But also, Dan Houser goes on to know it's kind of a different time now. So, could be an opportunity to re-explore that. So we'll see. But based on that reasoning, how do you feel about that?
I think he's absolutely correct that it was a different time back then, and I do think that the games could do better now. However, like I still think the stories of like GTA and Red Dead are so vast, like they're so big. I'm still not done Red Dead Redemption 2. And like if you were to make that into a show, you would need like at least 2 seasons. There's so much that goes on to it. But I also think that these games are so good and they're so, to me, accessible, like that I would argue that you don't really need to make them into a movie, because every like GTA is just like really a heist video game, and you could just make a heist movie, like you don't really need the GTA IP to make a GTA movie. You don't really need the Red Dead IP to make a Red Dead movie. You could just make a Western, or you could just make a heist movie. Like having GTA on it isn't going to really change what it's going to be. The only thing it's going to change is like you'll have certain things like clucking chicken or whatever the chicken place is called is going to be like in the background instead of it being like a chicken spot. Like I don't think I personally would just rather y'all just make regular heist movies. Maybe y'all want the IPs just to get the fan base invested in it. But like me personally, I think that you guys could just do without it being an IP. Maybe specific things like the Red Dead story. Like if you want John Marston, if you want Arthur Morgan, like yeah, sure, you need to make a Red Dead TV show or video game. But that was the one thing that I always didn't really care. I didn't really ever bring up GTA or Red Dead when it comes to making a movie about video games, because to me it's like a parody of stuff that we already have. So it's like a parody of, it's like a version. We're making a movie about something that's a parody of essentially a movie. Like Vice City was like a parody of Scarface, if I'm not mistaken, or inspired heavily off of Scarface. So now the game was made after watching the movie. The game is based on a movie, and this movie will be based on the game that was based off a movie. Like it's just like just make a movie. I just feel like why go through all these hoops?
Yeah, no, very true, very true. And again, that's clearly different to how things are operating now, where IPs are getting a lot of different clout. You know what I'm saying? They're actually getting some good, real good supports around them in terms of Hollywood giving them the time of day and actually being serious with them. But listen, it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, back then shit never would have happened, and I'm glad.
No, and it would have been ass. Now it would be better. It would 100% be so much better. Because like looking at The Last of Us, like that fucking great. But yeah, no, I just feel like just make a movie. Just make a record. Just make a Western, bro. Just make a Western. Like let's just do that. I think that would be sick.
Honestly, that would just be great. But the clout got a clout, man. They need the IP to sell some extra ticks. All right, let's keep it pushing here. That's it for the trailer trope. We can move on to the last few regular stories that we have for the day. Let's talk about Sony. There's been a lot of rumors flying around about Sony's plans, man. Sony's plans on PC. Got some stuff from according to Icon Era. Sony's planning a lot of things here. So they're thinking about PS Plus on Fire Stick, Roku, and smart TVs. They're thinking about cross-buy, cross-save, and cross-progression on PC, all culminating in a plan to launch a PC Sony storefront, a PC launcher for PlayStation. How do you feel about that? I feel it in the air, like Beanie Siegel. How you feel it?
I said this. I was like, yo, if they want to come back, if they really want to compete, you throw cross-buy in that shit, we're in a different conversation. Like you're in a different conversation. You're bringing a different value that Xbox doesn't bring. Like Game Pass, sure, you can play it everywhere, but those games aren't yours. Those are not your games. Now, if I'm playing for a game that's not on Game Pass and now that game is also played on my PC, that's a different conversation. That's a whole different ball game. You're telling me buying into the PlayStation ecosystem, buying the games via the PlayStation launcher lets me play it on my PS5. I don't know, bro. That's different. That's very fucking different.
Mm-hmm.
Like that right there is in and of itself would be a game changer. Cross save, no shit. Cross progression, no shit. That's fine. Cool. Some games already have that built in. It's like you're not really changing the ball game. But the cross buy, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like being able to say, yo, I want to play Monster Hunter Wilds, for example. Great example. I'm gonna buy this game on Steam. Wait, if I buy it on PlayStation, I can play it on my PC and on my PlayStation. Now we're in a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like now you have to start thinking about games that you want to play on your console. Maybe your PC's in your room, but your console's on in the living room. What games would I want to play out there? Or, and I don't think this is gonna happen, but what if when I buy a game on my PlayStation, I could play it from my PC? If I buy Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, or the next God of War, maybe I don't have to wait that extra year if I buy it on the PlayStation launcher as opposed to waiting for it to drop on Steam. I think it would help. I think it would heavily benefit them, 1000%. And to be honest, their pricing is already similar to not HBO, to Xbox. So it's not like they would really have to change much. But I think that cross buy would be their biggest selling point to combat with Xbox.
Yeah, 100%. Now a PC launcher again. That's what I figured that was on the way already. I already knew that was on the way just from how they were heavily pushing the PC numbers on Helldivers, and they're trying to put the PSN requirements on Ghost of Tsushima and the incoming titles on PC and Steam and stuff like that. I figured this was on the way at some point, but I did not see cross buy and cross save and cross progression on the way with PC. If they line up some level of parity with cross buys, cross saves, cross progression, cross buy specifically, if they line that up and they unify that across storefronts on PC and their console, yeah, now we open up a whole different can of worms, bro. That's a whole different thing, bro. If we can start inching toward, if we can get in the ballpark of Xbox on PC access, if we can get in the ballpark of that, and I can play certain things on PC, and they're allowing those services to kind of coalesce in certain regards, boy, I'm gonna have to download this launcher, brother. I'm gonna have to download this launcher, because I mean, outside of PC games, which I would say I play the most, PlayStation is second place into where the place I most frequently play my games. So being able to line those up is a huge get. I'm very, very interested. Again, they added the trophy support on PC pretty recently. I think it was on like the Spider-Man stuff, and it was Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. And I don't know when this could come through. I think the more that they're trying to, this could be why they were trying to force those numbers on Helldivers 2 and with that server stuff. They wanted to at least try and provide maybe more of a hard sticking number to how many people are actually playing our games, how many people on PC are actually tapping into our stuff rather than just the hard sales. They wanted them to be active numbers, concurrent players and stuff like that. Maybe that's a part of that reason. I'm not justifying what they did, still ass, but that could play a part into how the shareholders and executives in suits saw those numbers. This happens, this is a huge win. I think this is a big W for PC people specifically, because we get more access to all the games, we get cross buy, all the cross save stuff happens. PC stuff, PC people winning off rip, and the multiplayer games that are set to be geared up for PS4, PS5, PS6, blah blah blah. They get a much longer shelf life because they're going to be connected to PC. You see how Helldivers is going to have a life of its own for a long time because PC market has their hands on it. Whatever multiplayer stuff that PlayStation plans to drop next, and I know they're horny to get a PC to get a multiplayer game from PlayStation, a first party one on the books, consistent and firing on all cylinders. If they get that within the PC market and it's good, that turns that up to a whole new level. So I know a PC launcher is heavily considered for the future of Sony, and I think this would be a big W for them in the long run. And of course, it benefits everybody else because PC people, we win it. So I think this is a W, man. This is a W. And again, just to mention the other stuff like Fire Stick, Roku, and smart TVs. Again, this is just a battle for access, the battle for ecosystem. They want to be in this era where you have to capture attention in as many places as possible to grow. This was the likely conclusion with Xbox going to Roku and smart TV and Fire Stick and all stuff like that. They have to fight there too. So they're just following the trend that Xbox is pushing for the hardest because they have to be in an all-inclusive ecosystem. PlayStation doesn't have to move as fast, but they're gonna be there. But my biggest thing is PC launcher, big potential W if this rolls through, man. All right, we can keep moving on here. We can switch gears from well, not really switch gears from Sony, but we can move on from PlayStation to another P to PalWorld. Let's talk about PalWorld really quickly and the fact that they have joined forces. Pocket Pair has joined forces with Aniplex, Sony Music Entertainment Japan, and they have made a whole new joint venture called PalWorld Entertainment. It is basically set up for PalWorld IP outside of the game. A huge undertaking is going to be responsible for the whole IP, expanding the commercial business, global licensing, merchandising, all that stuff. So this reads to me as if PalWorld ain't going no damn where. It's not going no damn where, bruh. It's not going anywhere. How do you feel about Pocket Pair and PalWorld locking in a brand new joint venture to expand their IP?
Hey, it's a new era, baby. It's time. I'm happy, you know. Maybe we're gonna get some quality stuff coming out. We already got a pretty quality game. Like, I think that this is gonna be the age of a new era. We're gonna have the Pokemon versus, like, everybody was like, oh, you know, PalWorld isn't really gonna go nowhere. It's all the hype. I don't know. This is kind of huge, you know. This is kind of crazy. And with these resources, like, it can only get better. Like, I think that a lot of the conversation of like, oh, well, they're just copying Pokemon designs is really going to kind of go out the window once they start getting more money put into their development of different things. And on top of that, nobody's ever going to dethrone Pikachu, right? Pikachu will always be extremely popular. But PalWorld, I think, is going to have its own niche. I think PalWorld is going to be the part of the fan base of Pokemon that felt unheard. And now has a new way of playing their franchise, a new way of engaging with the what's the word? A new way of engaging with the battle system of having like a pet and you fighting. Like, it's gonna be different. And honestly, I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. I think that those dudes did a great job making that game. It's really fun to play. Like, I need to go back. If I finally got a job, so maybe we can finally get that server started up.
Yes, sir.
That game is fun. Like, it's just fun. And honestly,
Facts.
I am happy for them.
Facts. Same. Yeah. Let's just double down on what we're talking about, man. They're not going nowhere. This is only going to serve to build whatever things up. Again, they could have a whole bunch of shit going down. This literally opens up the possibility to really have the not only the financial but the structural backing for that Pocket Pair needed to push their IP to the masses in any type of way that they can. So yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing though. When Pocket Pair started up, they was like, yo, we just don't have the resources and the structure to be like, yo, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're swimming in so much money, we don't know how to expand shit. And now they're getting that structure with Xbox stepping in to help them on the game side. They built this whole new venture that could expand into so much stuff. So the game could see huge gains from this. The IP in general could have huge gains. We might get PalWorld cards. We may get a whole short anime series or something like that. They could go anywhere. And we could be seeing the rise of a brand new juggernaut IP. I think if given the right time, given the right love, I think it can hit high levels and it can get really far. So, hey man, more power to the pals, baby. Power to the pals. All right, let's slide on here. Let's talk about Riot, and not Riot. You know what I'm saying? The shouts out to the new 2XKO trailer. Shout out to Braun. You know what I'm saying? I know Wen is almost spontaneously combusted over that shit. But let's talk about something else. The alleged party brawler, the alleged Riot platform fighter that was canceled. Apparently it was canceled. They were set to make a brand new, again, Smash competitor that was trying to drop in the market, but it was dropped. It was canceled. And apparently there was some influencer in that decision of canceling that game. It was codenamed, it was Project Pool Party, I believe it was, internally, just again unannounced Smash Bros style, but apparently so. The cancellation was basically enacted in part by just a look at the market for a Smash competitor, and after the events of Multiverses and how it's been received and how it went down over the past year and change, they decided to basically not do it anymore because of how Multiverse got treated. Like, nah, we're good. So what'd you make of this?
It's so unfortunate. And I used to be the biggest Multiverse defender. Yeah, maybe we can't do platformers, man. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. Because it's like, I think this would have worked really well. I honestly think that a platform fighter would have been better for the Riot like games than a regular 2D fighter. Don't get me wrong, 2XKO, while the name is absolutely stupid, the game looks like it's going to be a blast. I think a platformer would have made more sense for the cast of characters that are in League of Legends, and you could do a lot with a platform fighter that you couldn't do with a 2D fighter. But at the same time, I 100% get it. Like, when you look at the track record of the past like 4 years and how many platform fighters have come and gone, it's not the best from an investor standpoint. Like, both Nickelodeon games kind of got put to the side. Fucking Multiverses has come, gone, and then came again, and it's looking like it's also on the way out. The only people who have really been able to crack the code is Smash Bros. But even then, then it's like you can't really do anything because you know Smash isn't gonna expand anywhere, and the fan base just doesn't seem interested in playing anything else, like anything else. Brawlhalla still has a fan base for sure. We're not gonna knock that, but it is nowhere near the level that Smash Bros is. And honestly, because Nintendo does not release those numbers, we genuinely don't know how many people are actively playing Smash Bros. Because we assume it's a lot, but it may not be as many as we actually think. Yeah. So to bring in another heavy hitter to that market where the pool is small, maybe it's just not worth the money. I do think they would have cooked, and I do think it sucks that we don't get this, but I understand why they're afraid of this, because it's like there's not many games like Smash Bros that have done the Smash Bros numbers, that has the same influence that Smash Bros has. Like, nobody's really been able to recapture, and who's to say you guys would, especially with the fact that like Riot closed down all the Riot Forge studios after like 1 year of making games that wasn't League of Legends. Like, you guys have to support it and be ready to support it. And if you guys are going to drop it, and if 1 year later just kill it, I'm happy you guys didn't drop it at all.
Yeah. My thing is, Multiverses is the warning sign. That's the funniest thing to me, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's so sad.
They were about to make the WWE style run in, like, yo, we're about to drop this joint, let's go. And then they seen how your partner got there, be like, let's leave the arena. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's
pack it up.
Yeah. So let's hit the reverse, man. Put it in reverse, Terry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really dipped on him. It's nasty.
Oh my god.
It's nasty work. It's so nasty, bro. But again, I understand. I'm glad that Riot aren't just throwing everything to the wind. It would be so cool to see a League of Legends party brawler. That would be fantastic. I would love that. But it's just such a tough market to find some sustainability in, unless you're doing like completely free shit like a Brawlhalla or your Smash. If you're outside of that, it's so hard to do. That's why I commend people like, again, Rivals of Aether. We talked about that in the past on this pod.
Yeah.
Rivals of Aether, I respect what they're doing because they're trying to bring something new, and they're doing it from grassroots, from an indie perspective. So I really respect that, but it's just so difficult to get into because the Smash community is the majority of the platform fighter community, and it's so niche. It's so hard to please them. It's so hard to get their attention and to hold their attention. It's one of the most difficult things in gaming, bar a few things here, but it's one of the most difficult tasks. So I understand them approaching with caution and then bowing out. Again, that is what it is. Will we ever see any true competition to Smash? Ever? I don't know. If PlayStation decides to get their fucking act together and drop an All-Stars, maybe we'll get a little bit, at least from a character going band for band standpoint, maybe. But even then, if a Solid Snake is in Smash, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if they even gonna really let that rock like that. We don't know. but it's just this was, I think, in the end, a smart move. But it's just tough that there's no room for it to happen, because I would have, in an ideal world, I would have loved for it to come through. I would love for that to happen. I would love for there have been a 3-horse race between Smash, Multiverse, and Riot, but things don't pan out that way, and that's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. All right, man. Let's slide on here. Let's talk about this last story. We got the confirmation, man. If you didn't know at this point, we got a fail safe, brother. If you didn't know that the era of nostalgia is in full swing with these games, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has confirmed via Video Games Chronicle more Assassin's Creed remakes are on the way. He was there in the article saying, and I quote, "Firstly, players can be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we created in the past and modernize them. There are worlds in some of our older Assassin's Creed games that are still extremely rich." And of course, you know, last year was reported they had a Black Flag remake that was in early development. When, how do you feel about it?
I am not surprised. Assassin's Creed is, I don't want the series to die, but it just feels like they're kind of like turned it into like Ubisoft's Mario, where they're like, oh, we always need to have an Assassin's Creed on the way. There always needs to be one. And I don't really think another remake, because didn't we already get a remake series like the Ezio collection or something like that? Am I tripping? Was that a thing?
Yeah, some type of remaster collection.
Yeah, like I don't think we really need. I don't think we need more of this. I think Ubisoft needs to stop banking on the same 6 things that make them money and start branching out, or maybe banking on some shit that they haven't used in a while. Fucking Rayman. But anyways, I digress.
Cell. Bitch ass.
Yeah, Splinter Cell. Like, oh my god.
Oh gosh, my cough is killing me today. Oh shit. Gosh.
I feel like there's so many games that Ubisoft has made that they just completely forgot about. Where's my fucking Monopoly game, Ubisoft? Because the one you have is ass. I need that new one that you've been talking about for like 8 years now. Like, you guys, instead of branching out and being like, yo, let's do some new shit, it's like, nah, let's do the same shit over and over again. Or they do new shit that like that's not gonna work out. For example, an X-Defiant. Like, why make a Call of Duty clone when you could have like put more money towards anything else? Honestly, their most unique game that they dropped recently was Roller Champions, and I'm just really upset that game didn't get the love it deserved, it didn't get the support that it deserved. Or they could, and we have X-Defiant. That's the game that they're pushing now. And we've been on Rainbow Six Siege for like 38 years now. Rainbow Six Siege came out with the Super Nintendo, it feels like. And we get to look forward to a new Assassin's Creed remake. Where is Beyond Good and Evil 2? That game's never gonna come out at this point. Where is Beyond Good and Evil 2, dog? Where are the games? Where are the games?
Nasty work, bro. Nasty work.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sick and tired of it. Why the fuck do we have an Avatar game? Why is that the one y'all wanted to put resources into? Like, I could go on and on about all the dumb shit that Ubisoft has done.
Resources in there, but you haven't had resources in the game you've been spending a decade working on. Like, where's the logic? Where's the sense, brother? Like, listen, I already knew y'all was gonna do this. I already knew y'all was gonna remake every Assassin's Creed y'all possibly could, because you can't. Your palms get itchy when you don't have enough money in your hands, all right? I know. But why must you try and sacrifice everything instead of making do with the good things you have that are in the wings? Again, we went through all those games that we just talked about, man. It just baffles me how they refuse to make sense of what potentially great things that they have in their locker right now that are not existing games, potential things that are on the way, stuff that's already half baked in the oven for you to really finish and flourish through. Like, where is it? All right, do they? Yeah, they do. Where's the division, bro? The last division I ain't really rock with, bro. What happened? Build up the division again, bro. Where is it? I'm confused at this point, man. I'm so confused at this point. We have got. We need an impasse. We need an intervention. We need to start a dialogue, bro. Oh my gosh, it's gonna piss me off because they're gonna remake again. They're gonna remake Assassin's Creed that I like again. Black Flag, whatever. I didn't really care for. Everybody was gonna say, oh whatever. I didn't really care for Black Flag like that. It was decent. Ship battles dope. She shanties great, nice. But I didn't care for the character like that. Story was whatever. When they get to 2, when they get to remaking 2, it's gonna piss me off. 1, I'm like, okay, fine. It's been like 2008. I'm not mad at that one all the way. But when you start going to 2, you start changing shit. It's gonna kill me. But come on, Ubisoft, tighten up, bro. We don't need it. We really don't. I promise you, we don't.
I just like, I don't know, man. I don't know with Ubisoft anymore. I really don't, because all we ever get is mid and Assassin's Creed, and I'm just supposed to like accept that they're like the front runners of shit. Like, honestly, I haven't been excited about a Ubisoft game in a long time. The last game that was like cool was a Prince of Persia game that was sick, but even then, that's not like a main title. Every time they drop a main line, here's a AAA experience, I'm taking a nap. Like, this shit is just, it's sad. It's sad, and I'm really happy we get to see more of Ezio, because every time they don't have money, pull out Ezio. Like, that man, let that man rest.
Facts.
Let that man sleep.
Facts. Let him rescue out there in Pache gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, close his eyes for him, bro. They don't gotta wake him up. Let him live. Damn. Blow me, bro. Ubisoft, man. Listen, I ain't got no more damn stories, man. I ain't got no more damn stories for this week. Anything that we missed, Win?
Not that I am aware of.
Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Actually, I just saw this. There's a trailer for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed, which, so based on the last movie that came out, that was based on a Mutant Mayhem thing. There's a game coming out about that. I think it is co-op. Which actually, that could be a cool little movie joint. Yo, nature's low-key healing, bro. We're getting games based on a movie. Hey, that shit coming through.
I miss those days, but I don't miss the days of not knowing that most of them sucked. I don't miss those days. Yeah, I remember watching that trailer for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game with the Johnny Depp movie. I was like, I never bought it. But I remember watching that commercial and being like, wow, actually, like, I was a self-actualizing moment. I was like, damn, video game movies suck. Full stop. That's it. And I was like, And then you know what? You know what caught me? Fucking Transformers, man.
Yeah.
I got caught up on one of those.
Yeah,
that shit was trash. That shit was trash.
They sold your dream, brother. They sold your dream.
Yeah, I was like, man, this looks cool. And then I played. I was like, oh, this is butt cheeks.
Straight eeks, bruh. Tough. But yeah, other quick things. Neon White's on Game Pass and PC Game Pass, so make sure y'all cop that. Go check it out if you want to check a fun swashbuckling time, car-based, like super fast-paced game. Really cool stuff. What's it called? What else is here? Greedfall 2 was announced. That was dope. Concord's early access beta weekend is going to be open to all PS Plus members. So if you got PS Plus, go check out Concord. I'm gonna check it out just to get the what for on it, see what's happening. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters is coming to PS5 and PS4 on July 16th. So I seen a lot of a couple of these Ratchet and Clank games and Jak and Daxter. They're coming back to PlayStation. They're getting updated and refreshed, not necessarily remasters, but just to get imported. So that's cool. Yeah, it looks. There's a couple new ones there. First Descendant, I might try it, but I'm not in the mood for the grind. But it is what it is. I
downloaded it. I downloaded it and was like, I downloaded it and then I deleted it. I didn't even open it up. I was like, I don't get me wrong. I like a good grind. I'm not. They said it sounded like Destiny, and that just it really Destiny has burned me. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Who put you on the planet?
Yeah, I was like
that shit crazy, bro. But yeah, nah, that's pretty much it. That a new Watchmen trailer, a couple of new things here and there. But yeah, check it out, man. There's a lot to dive into, man. A lot to dive into.
Angerfoot drops today.
Angerfoot, man. Literally, like what? like
an hour,
30 minutes.
Not even 30 minutes. Yeah. I cannot wait.
Nah, man. Hey, man, stuff going up, bro. It's the summer. Enjoy games, people. But that's all we got for this episode of No Cooldown Podcast. What's your closing statements? Brody, take us home.
Everybody, make sure you Eat healthily, drink your water, enjoy your games. The summer is getting closer to coming to a close, but that doesn't mean that there are less games to play. There's a lot of games coming out, so make sure you plan accordingly. This is going to be a big fall as well. And don't forget that next year there's a lot of games too, so I'd keep some money in the tuck just for those things. But other than that, enjoy your games and hydrate.
Yeah, man. Make sure you live in your truth. Don't be a nasty bad man on this internet, bro. Don't be nasty bad people on this internet, folks. Live in your truth. Don't harm people. Live up to your obligations and expectations and keep working every day. Drink your water, man. Tell folks you love them. Tell folks you love each other. And make sure you play these games. Stop hating. Even though it's the year of hate, which is insane. Leave that to the professionals like Kendrick and them, all right? This ain't for y'all, bro. Don't worry about it. But in the meantime, make sure you show some love to No Cooldown Podcast on all platforms. Let us know what topics you want to hear from, what people you want to see on the show. We got some stuff in the works for the summertime and through the rest of the year, so make sure you keep eyes on that. Yeah. And with that being said, this has been episode 98 of No Cooldown Podcast, and we are out of here. Peace.